the UK decided last decade that the lack of membership by private sector workers in workplace pension plans was a public issue, public issue that needed to be addressed. And they've gone through a process of requiring all workers or all employers in the UK to offer their employees and register employees in a qualifying pension plan. And they created a default option called Nest. And so it's a and Nest, by the way, is using 21st century design principles in the way that Nest is being put together, which I applaud. And now what's relevant here for us is this is a huge issue in North America. It's a huge issue in Canada. It's a huge issue in the US. This lack of membership by private sector workers in sensible workplace pension plans. And it so happens that it's Ontario who's taken the lead, basically saying it is a public policy issue, it is something we need to deal with, and we're going to take an initiative to change the situation. So this is still a work in progress. I think there's a lot to be learned from the Nest UK experience and Nest. And one of the things, one of the elements that I believe that we need to do more thinking about is how we create a productive role for the private sector in the delivery of Pillar 2 pension plans. So that it's not just a government solution, but that, in fact, the private sector thinks about how it can play a constructive role in delivering potentially an alternative to the ORPP. And if we take this nationally as an alternative to expanding the CPP. So that's some of the leadership elements that we're currently working with. And then finally, sort of still that revolutionary sense that Drucker talked about a long time ago, which is about sort of individual leadership. And I quote George Bernard Shaw, taking all the way back to his play Men and Supermen in 1903. And here's a quote. The reasonable man adapts himself to the world. The unreasonable one persists in trying to adapt the world to himself. Thus, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. Keynes put it somewhat differently, but it was, again, the same idea of we all crave to be conventional. And that some of the things that need to happen in this space require leadership and require people stepping outside the norm and saying, we can do better than this.